Coming up on the This Week in Cougar Baseball Podcast.
I thought we were getting momentum on both sides of the ball. The fight offensively, we were attacking the strike zone on the mound, and then defensively, I thought we were making plays. The biggest thing was the defense and pitching and defense, and then offensively just staying together and passing it to the next guy.
Oh, it was the best feeling ever. When I was walking up to home plate to hit, I just had to soak it in, just feel the moment, look around, just see how many fans there are. I always want to compete against like the top dogs. So just stepping in, it's just another baseball game. Taking it pitch by pitch and just trying to get on base to pass the torch to the next guy behind me.
Alongside the head coach of the Cougars, Nathan Choate, here's Trevor Williams.
Week 1 of the season in the books. Washington State back from Tuscaloosa, where they took on the Alabama Crimson Tide, took the opener of that series, and then fell in games 2 and 3, which were played in a doubleheader on Saturday. Coach, first off, welcome back to the Palouse, and I'm just eager to get your thoughts on that first weekend of the season.
Yeah, it's nice to be back home and not be on a 3-week-long road trip like last year, so it was good to get back in town. There was good. Obviously, there was some not so good. Was really pleased with how we played on Friday. Thought we played exceptionally well. I thought our defense was great. We played with big-time energy. I thought the first half of the game on Saturday, the same thing. I thought we were playing well. Game got away from us a little bit. And, you know, if I'm being critical, was disappointed the second game of the doubleheader. There were some plays to be made that we didn't make. So in all facets, there's some things that we did well and some things we need to get better. Too many free passes. But the thing I will say is I thought our misses were good misses. You know, I looked on TrackMan. There's like 51 pitches that were 2 balls off or less, right? And so that's a lot different number than it was a year ago, but still too many free passes. And the defense, like I said, in game 3 kind of got away from us a little bit and too many strikeouts offensively. But I thought the 2 arms that they threw did a pretty good job. You got to give them a little bit credit too.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that from Cam and Noah. You'd see a pitch that would miss, and there was a lot of, hey, telling the pitcher that's the spot we want. You know, the guy didn't bite, but felt a lot of that same energy coming from your catchers there and communicating with pitchers throughout the weekend.
Yeah, they did a good job, and I thought our pitchers continued to attack. I thought there was no quit in them. Like I said, if we can clean up some of the other stuff, I think we're going to be just fine. But you know, all in all, was really pleased on Friday. I wasn't shocked that we played well. I thought we would. They just, you know, we talked about if we play well, we'll be in the game against anyone. And on Saturday, we just didn't play well. And so, you know, it got away from us a little bit. And then, you know, tried to get I think we got everybody in. But we didn't play well on Saturday. We did play well on Friday. So.
What's tough, I mean, going into the weekend, it's not a planned doubleheader there on Saturday. That was necessitated because of expected weather on Sunday. Not from like an excuse standpoint, but just the reality of early in the season, getting the team together, getting the mindset going. What's tough about that doubleheader situation in that spot?
You know, the bullpen is probably the thing. You know, we went all in. We pitched 5 guys on Friday with a lead, guys that have some experience that we have a lot of trust in. And so had envisioned getting them on the mound twice on the weekend, both Friday and then Sunday. And so because it's opening weekend, once they pitched on Friday, I wasn't going to bring them back on Saturday. And so I think both teams were even from hey, you know, you maybe have some fatigue, you're tired, you're on your feet a lot, all of those types of things. But I thought from a bullpen standpoint, it would have been nice to play the game on Sunday just because I think Wick could have come back, Ryland could have came back. You know, those guys could have thrown a little bit. Durr could have thrown.
Yeah.
And so that was probably just the biggest thing was on that piece.
And there's an element of that, right? Because it's week 1 of the season, too. It's, you know, this is not a sprint, but a marathon.
Yeah. You know, August Ritchie, who had been working back, he wanted to go back out for a second inning. And I said no. And so sometimes I have to protect guys from themselves a little bit on weekend 1 because it's a long season. And so, yeah, I just wasn't going to do it week 1 where I was throwing guys on back-to-back days unless we absolutely had to. And so if we could avoid that at all costs, I'm competitive. We want to win a series. I get it. But we need those guys to be healthy for the long haul.
All right, so let's go specifics here, and I want to go back to game one to start it, the 8-4 win for you guys over Alabama. I thought right off the top, such a tone setter in that first inning is what you guys did with 2 outs to grab a 2-0 lead right from the start. We're going to talk to Trevor Smith today, who, as a true freshman in the leadoff spot, pretty incredible thing for any program, but there in that first inning, it just felt like you guys set a great tone, and you mentioned the energy of the team that continued throughout the night.
Yeah, I thought Trevor, did a good job, fought and put a ball in play, a little squibber in front of the third baseman. We get on base, and then Max Hartman, unselfish, holds his ground and gets hit by a pitch. Their pitcher balks, and then with 2 outs, Dustin Robinson gets a big swing, and I thought it just kind of let us exhale a little bit, right, and gave us a little bit of a cushion. And then I thought 2 plays on the defensive side, Ollie Obenauer. Last year when we were at Arkansas, we had a double play ball in the first inning, and we didn't handle it. And Ollie got a double play ball in the bottom of the first with Justin LeBron, and we turned a double play and fired it over there. And it was like almost like a no, not this time, right? And so. And then the following inning, he made a diving play where he fired over to first. I thought we were getting momentum on both sides of the ball. The fight offensively, we were attacking the strike zone on the mound. And then defensively, I thought we were making plays.
From the plate, you guys were over 500 at the dish and advancement opportunities on Friday night. I thought it spoke to what I kept hearing out of this team in the preseason about doing your job to continue to move guys, set up situations where you can get Dustin Robinson to deliver and drive in a couple. It just seemed like that really was evident there on Friday night.
Yeah, I thought we did a much better job on Friday than the rest of the weekend on that. I don't think guys were trying to necessarily get hits. They were trying to get a pitch and stick with an approach and put a good swing on it. Even the home run that Ryan Shawnsby hit, that was a hit and run. And so, he wasn't trying to hit a home run. He was trying to hit a ball hard. And it was a little cutter up in the zone that he ended up getting the head to and hits it out of the ballpark. But I thought on Friday we did a good job, just like you said, passing it off to the next guy and giving what the defense in the pitching is giving us. Taking that.
Let's talk about the pitching on Friday night. Obviously, that's a good lineup, so you guys are missing in good spots and being careful not to leave things in hittable spots. So walk-wise, 9 walks, and you said you want to see the free passes come down, but let's talk about some of the pitching performances. Luke Myers at the start, 1 earned run in his 3 2/3 innings. Rylan Hyder, Caden Wickersham, they go 3 scoreless innings, and then Gavin Durr and Scott Ringett in there as well. What did you see from that staff on Friday?
Yeah, I thought Luke did a great job setting the tone, being aggressive. They did a really good job spitting on his changeup. He normally gets a lot of chases on that. They had really good strike zone discipline and some balls that were just out of the zone that they spit on. They didn't swing at. So, in turn, jacked his pitch count up a little bit. And so did not go as deep as we would have liked. And then, Gavin Durr comes in and gets the 1 out and then goes out the next inning. And there's a couple pitches that were pretty close. And all of a sudden, in the 5th inning when you're winning, and you don't get that, and now all of a sudden Gavin tries to put a little bit more pressure on himself, and we end up walking the bases loaded, and there was some frustration by him. He's much better than that. I know that. He knows that. And so we went to Rylan, and I thought Rylan really did a good job settling the game down, and I thought the game was really decided there in the 5th inning. He came in with the bases loaded, struck out 3 guys. Yeah, he walked a guy, but they were pretty competitive misses, and so getting out of that, and then went to Caden Wickersham, who we did not have last year. I thought Caden did a really good job, and then Scott Ringett came in, and I know LeBron hit the home run in the 9th, but you're up 8-2 on a 1-0 fastball. We're trying to get it over the plate. You don't want to walk guys, and he did a good job. He went with it and hit it out to right field, and that is actually a better thing, believe it or not, than a double would have been. Mm-hmm. A double in that situation, there's still some traffic on base, and it gets a little weird. And so I thought he did a good job of challenging. And anytime we give up a home run, I really want to see what the next pitch was. Next pitch, he attacks a strike zone, and so he's not afraid to get hit. And so, like I said, the free passes were too many, but not all walks are the same. Like for me, a leadoff walk on 4 pitches, a walk with 2 outs, a 4-pitch walk. Those are concentration walks, and I get really frustrated with those. But when it's 0-2, 1-2, 2-2, 3-2, foul it off, 3-2, sometimes you got to give a little credit to the offense too. And I thought they earned some walks and put together some tough at-bats. But I thought we competed, but I thought the biggest thing was the defense and pitching and defense. And then offensively, just staying together and passing it to the next guy.
I think that game really showed what this team can be, right? When it's playing its brand of baseball. Let's talk the doubleheader on Saturday then, because you talked about feeling like at times you guys got away from kind of that style and that good baseball, as you guys would call it. What do you feel like challenged this team and created, some of that to knock them off of their rhythm from where they were on Friday night?
Yeah, I thought early on it was good. It was the 4th inning. It was a 0-0 game. We had 1st and 3rd, and we're trying to get a safety down. We play better with a little bit of a lead. It would put pressure on them, and we just don't get it down. And then the next hitter strikes out, and so we don't score right there. I thought that was a huge deal. And then in the bottom of the 4th, they hit a 2-run home run, and so it makes it a 2-0 game. And then from there, it just, there were a couple plays that we didn't make and a couple walks, and offensively we squandered some opportunities. But I thought that was really where the game kind of turned right there, was that 4th inning where we didn't get the safety down. We had a chance to take a lead, and then they scored, and they felt a lot more comfortable after they got the lead 2-0. So kind of went from there.
So we talked going into the weekend about a big goal going down there is learning about your team and why you want to play tough competition early in the season. What do you feel like you learned about this team week 1?
Well, I think they know that when we play good baseball, we're talented enough to beat anybody. They prove that, and that's a good team. That's a regional team, a possible regional host team. They're good. They're a really good team, really good program. So our guys know that if we do that, we can win. They also know that if we don't do that, we can't beat teams like that. Mm-hmm. We made too many mistakes. And when you have to get 4 or 5 outs an inning, that leads to more walks, that leads to more runs, and nobody's trying to do it. Like, it's not like we're like, hey, let's not be focused. But I thought our concentration just wasn't quite as crisp on Saturday as it was on Friday. And so hopefully we learn from it. Like I said, there was a lot of good. There's some areas to grow, but those things get exposed in an environment like that. If you're just looking to go 3-0 and to get everybody excited, we would schedule probably a little bit differently.
Yep.
If you're trying to grow your team and teach your team so that they can learn, I think that's a great environment, because every mistake gets exposed, and we can tell them till we're blue in the face in practice. But when we're talking about getting that safety down so that we have a lead, and if we don't do it, it showed it, right?
Yeah.
So. Like I said, I was pleased with the energy. I was pleased with their training. I know they know we can win against anybody, and so a lot of good. But like I said, Saturday, it was more the second game. There was a little bit of frustration, but hey, man, that's baseball.
So now it doesn't get any easier. You guys head to Cal Poly. That's another team that's, by many regards in the preseason, a postseason caliber team in college baseball. You guys are going to play 4 against them this weekend coming up. They have a lot of returners, a lot of continuity there, and of course a special place to you as well as a place that you played in your career. So just talk to me about this weekend, first personally, going back to a place that obviously means so much to you in your life, and then the challenge that this team is going to face in getting another week against another high caliber opponent.
Yeah, met my wife at Cal Poly, and the place means a lot to me. The first year of the new stadium, Baggett Stadium, where we're going to play that summer, a couple of us players were hired to put in the sod on the field, mm-hmm. right? And so I like to tell people that we built that place, literally, right? Whenever I go back there, they seem to do a trivia question over the loudspeaker. Hey, who's the first pitcher to give up a home run in Baggett Stadium? Well, it was me, so I already know that. But I also got the first win. They never bring that one up either. We beat Stanford, and Stanford was the number 1 team in the country at the time. But they don't bring that one up. They bring up the fact that I gave the first home run in Baggett Stadium. But great ballpark, good program. made a regional last year. It's going to be a different challenge because they play a different style of baseball. It's more West Coast, going to put some pressure on you, some hit and runs. We're going to have to be able to handle pressure a little bit better. Alabama was more, hit for power, make a mistake, looking for a 3-run home run. Cal Poly is going to kind of chip away at you and try to get you to break. And so it'll be a really, really good challenge for us. They're good. And I knew they were good when we scheduled them. So if we don't play good baseball, we will not win. But if we play good baseball, like I've told you, it's going to come down to a pitch or two, a play or two, a swing or two. And so I know our guys are itching to get ready to get down there this weekend.
In your mind, what's the biggest difference maker in a Friday that you win 8-4 against Alabama and a second game of the doubleheader on Saturday where you feel a little frustrated walking away from it? How does the team close that gap to a more consistent approach?
Yeah, I think when you are doing anything you can to win the game and not trying to make your role too big, it makes it easy. So, hey, if you're trying to get a hit, like, hey, I have to get a hit, well, that becomes really difficult. If it's, hey, I need to put together a quality at bat, I need to sit on a fastball right here and put my best swing on it. That's a much more attainable goal. And so I thought on Friday, nobody tried to do too much. We were segmenting, and whatever you were doing in your role, just do that to the best of your ability. On Saturday, there starts to be some results. You start to see, hey, I'm 0 for 8. I don't have any hits yet against really good pitching. And you start to press a little bit. And so I think if we can just keep our mind clear and just control the controllables, like I'll continue to say, I think it puts us in the best position, right? And it comes down to defensive pitching, and defense. We aren't going to strike out 15 guys a game. So we have to play really, really premium defense like we did on Friday, where we're making plays. And when we do that, that's where we close the gap. If we don't make plays, right, now there's so much pressure that if you walk a guy, and like I said, we had too many free passes, but now if you're walking a guy or making an error in combination, one after the other, it's not the first mistake that kills you. It's normally the third or fourth mistake that kills you. And so I just would like to see us handle that better. When things are kind of going sideways where a guy throws a ball away, then there's an error, and then there's another walk or a hit by pitch. I can go out there and talk to those guys, but really, I'm really honing in on waiting to see when they call the group up and kind of take control of it and help each other, because it's way more powerful when you hear it from a teammate than just a coach. And so that is my job. I understand that, and I will go out there, and I did go out there. But that's the thing I'd like to see. Like I said, it's not when things are going good. It's when a mistake happens. That's why I was so happy in the 5th inning with Rylan out there. If you watched his breathing and his execution, that wouldn't have happened last year. That was part of our problem. That's why we weren't very good, is we couldn't get it stopped. And Rylan being a senior, that paid off. And you could just see he just did his job and made huge pitches, and we got it stopped, and it was a 1. And so we're going to give up some runs every once in a while, but we need to give up 1s and 2s. We can't give up crooked numbers. We can't give up a 4-spot or a 5-spot. We're not built to handle that. And so that's where we kind of had the breakdown when we gave up the 4-spot and the 5-spot, and it just got away from us.
Well, up next here, we're going to bring in Trevor Smith, center fielder for the Cougars. Coach, let's talk about Trevor here. Tell Coug fans about Trevor, what he's brought to the program, and kind of your thoughts on his performance in week 1 of the season.
Yeah, I mean, to start opening day as a freshman in center field means you're obviously pretty talented, which he is. And I think the thing that separates him, not just his talent, but his maturity for his age and his ability to kind of slow the game down. Great athlete, switch hitter, good arm, can really run it down in center field. Great teammate from San Diego. So can't speak highly enough about him. I'm really, really happy he's part of our program.
What impressed you in the recruiting process as you guys were, looking at bringing Trevor into the program?
Yeah, so when I spoke to James Davis, his high school coach at Granite Hills, I've known James for a long time and had told him, we're looking for a center fielder. He's like, well, I got 2 outfielders. I got this one guy that is an absolute baseball player and another guy that's got all these tools. And he goes, which one do you want me to tell you about? And I said, you know which one. And he laughed. He said, yeah, the baseball player. And I had seen video of Trevor. And I remember the first time Zooming with him. I think you were in your classroom at the time. and just how excited he was to talk about Washington State and talk about Division I baseball. You know, his brother was a very, very successful college player at the University of San Diego. And so, you know, it was late in the process for Trevor, but I just remember it standing out how excited he was about Washington State, and just his makeup and what he stood for and what he was about was very similar to what we try to recruit. So I just thought it was a really good natural fit.
Trevor, welcome to the podcast for the first time in your Cougar career. What stood out to you when Coach talks about your interest in Washington State and coming to this program? What made this an ideal spot for you to land?
Just the community around the school, just like the coaches brought in so much love, made me like very supportive, and just like the team. Coach Choate said he's big on like a team, so that's what made me feel like this is a great team to go to.
What did it feel like the first week of college baseball for you? I mean, getting to go out there and play against somebody else. Take me back to Friday night when you stand in as the leadoff guy at Alabama. What does that feel like?
Oh, it was the best feeling ever. When I was walking up to home plate to hit, I just had to soak it in, just feel the moment, look around, just see how many fans there are. And I was just like, I always want to compete against like the top dogs, especially going to SEC. I'm ready. So just stepping in, it's just another baseball game. So just taking it pitch by pitch and just trying to get on base to pass the torch for the next guy behind me.
It seemed like on Friday night, especially from the offense's perspective, you guys did a really good job of that, setting up one another, producing in key moments with 2 outs. What felt right at the plate, do you think, for you guys as a team when you look back at Friday specifically?
I think we stayed within our approach, swinging at pitches higher in the zone, not anything low. So we stayed within our approach and had quality at bats, and every single person had quality at bats, and we kept passing the torch, and that's what led to our runs.
Coach, from your eyes, in the dugout, Trevor was a huge piece of that. A couple runs scored, a couple hits, got on base via walk, really kind of speaking to that value of just getting on base any way that you can. What did you see from him in his approach for his first game and then for the team as a whole as well?
Yeah, he fought off some pitches, fouled some pitches off as a freshman, gets the little squibber right in front of the third baseman, gets to first base, and it kind of just got everybody to relax a little bit. And then Max did a great job holding his ground on the pitch in, and now it's first and second, and their guy ends up balking. So it's second and third, and then Robinson gets a hit. And so it started with Trev just fighting and finding a way to put it in play. And, that gets to Hardy, and Hardy doesn't do too much. And like I said, holds his ground. And I think Dustin's swing really kind of just let us exhale a little bit and take a little bit of the pressure off. And so, he's a catalyst. And I'm waiting for you to ask me about his defense, because as happy as I was with his offense, I was equally, if not more so, thrilled with how he played center field.
Well, let's go there then next. Yep. Talk about what he did defensively for you guys over the weekend.
Yeah, he's just a game changer in center field because of the jumps that he gets. The ball that he caught in the gap up against the fence, you don't see many people catch that ball. There's a select amount of players in center field that can make that play. And then he almost threw the guy out at the same time. And so, he's fearless out there, great communicator. But I think the thing is, he's fast, but it's not his speed. It's the jumps. I think he gets exceptional reads off the bat, and he just kind of glides to balls where you think it's going to fall. And we talk about pitching and defense and pitching. That's a huge part of it.
Trevor, how do you get those good jumps? What's your secret sauce for being able to do that?
Just ever since I was young, just with my brothers, my dad, just teaching me, just this like first step, just got to open up your hips 90 degrees. And then especially working with Coach Dan Bowers, he's been helping me train this. That's the number one thing on outfield is your first step. So we've been dialing that in, and it's definitely been helping.
You referenced your dad, who also was a pro ball player, and then Coach talked about your brother, who's tremendous at San Diego, and one of the finalists for the John Olerud Player of the Year, two-way Player of the Year, which of course that means a lot to Coug fans. That name. what do both of them provide to you in kind of your learning and development in baseball as players that you can look up to?
Yeah, I definitely look up to them because I know they have like the resources, they know the game of baseball. So I always ask them to like help me out. They always just help me out 24/7. If I need anything through a phone call, just if they fly out, they'll always like help me out. So it's really nice to have them around.
What did you feel like you learned in your first weekend of true game action in college baseball? Was there anything that surprised you or anything that you're now thinking about as you get ready for your second week?
What stood out was probably my brother always told me that the fans in the outfield are always going to be chirping. So going into the game, I knew they were going to start chirping. And it took a few innings for them to start chirping at me, but they started chirping at Max Hartman, and I just started laughing, like thinking it's funny. And they started chirping at me, but I stayed locked in, just thinking it was funny the whole time, and just played the game.
What did that feel like for you guys on the road? I mean, as a team, I'm sure to right off the bat go into a big stadium with, as you mentioned, kind of if people didn't see off the right field side, there's that huge seating section there at Alabama that's got a bunch of students and fans of the like out there. I mean, what did it feel like to go into that environment? Not a lot of Cougs there except for the dugout, and you guys to be able to, put on a show and get a win and do that in front of their fans.
What Coach Choate always says, it's always within us, our team. We don't care what other people think. We're doing it for our brothers. So just going out there, not think about other fans, what they think, what they want to know. We're just doing it just to help our brothers throughout the game.
Friday night, when we were talking about the defense, not only you, but a ton of your teammates making tremendous plays left and right, infield, outfield. Just this team, we talk a lot about the focus on that defensive side. How excited were you guys to see that come to fruition across the field?
Yeah, we've been training on it throughout fall, and it's 9-on-1 defense and pitching. So that's our mentality. So we've been trying to dial that in because that shows like if we make plays, we will win games no matter who it's against.
Coach, you kind of mentioned off the top just how tremendous it is to start in the leadoff spot in your first college game. What do you see for Trevor as you look back on that first weekend, is where he's going to just continue to grow right away, and what really stands out about that experience?
Yeah, I thought he stayed in character, which is, pretty incredible for a freshman in an environment like that. But I thought he stayed in character. He was having fun, and you could see he was soaking it in and enjoying it. And so, but I'm not surprised. Our staff isn't surprised. Otherwise, if we thought the moment was too big for him, we wouldn't have started him, right? And so, not surprised that he handled the moment well. And he's got a really, really bright future in our program. And so, thought he played well.
Trevor, we talk a lot as well about adversity in the game of baseball. It happens to everyone, right? Was there a point in the weekend where you felt like you faced some, and how do you want to work through that in your mind?
Yeah, so through game 2, I faced a little of just like striking out a little bit, but then Max Hartman just got to like throw him out, like give him a shout out, because he always is taking me under his wing, helping me out, talking me through everything, especially in the outfield. When I made a throw to third base when I should have thrown it to second base, he talked me through it, asking like why I did that, and it just helped me out, like get to the next play. So definitely huge with like my teammates and Max Hartman.
What are you excited to work on now heading into week 2?
Just playing Cougar baseball, just doing all of our stuff that we've been working on through fall and hoping it shows up against Cal Poly this next weekend.
Coach, any final thoughts as we wrap up the conversation with Trevor here? And I know we just continue to all be excited about the growth of this team and what you guys are looking to do going forward.
Yeah, no, like I said, I was really pleased with his poise from the weekend. I think you could see, and Coug fans could hopefully see, he's really going to make some plays out there in center field. And remember, he wasn't hitting ninth. He led off opening night in an SEC school where we had been as a program before, but had never won a game at Alabama. And so To be a true freshman in the game, college baseball is such an older sport now than it was, 15 years ago. You have 22, 23-year-old men on the other side, and then you got Trev, who's a freshman. So I thought he did a great job, and especially his poise stood out.
Well, Trevor, it was fun to watch you that first week. I know we're getting excited to see you more throughout the season and get to talk to you more. Thanks for the time today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Coach, it's fun to see a young guy, and I love what you said about there's a bunch of 22 and 23-year-olds, and then here comes Trev, bright-eyed for his first college appearance, but cool to talk to him and see how he, along with other young guys on your team, are going to impact this group going forward.
Yeah, I was pretty pleased with all of the new players to the program. Mason Perillo came off the bench and put together a really quality at-bat and stayed within himself. And so, Dane Chavez came on or started in game 3 and got a swing, got a base hit, and I think in his first at-bat. And so there's a lot to be excited about, but with the young guys, there's mistakes that they're going to make. That's part of it. And, really, really pleased with how they went about it. I thought they stayed in character, and I think that probably applies almost in every sport. You just want to know what you're going to get out of a player. Like, there was a play, Matt Priest ran down and there was a double play ball, and he busted his butt and ran a hard 90 and was safe and for a run. Yeah. And we weren't shocked because he does that in practice all the time. So, that's what we want. We want to know if that's what you do, we can expect that out of you. And so he did that versus, hey, you normally do this in practice, and then in a game you do just something completely different. And so just being able to see what we see every day in practice, we want to see it in a game. And so for those young guys, I thought they did a good job of that.
So we've talked about being process-oriented over result-oriented, and obviously how important that is in the game of baseball. What does the process look like now for the next few days as you guys gear up to go to Cal Poly?
Yeah, we have practice tomorrow, and so we need to get better. We need our focus to be better. Our catch play, our flat grounds, like I said, still too many free passes. Defensively, need to clean up a couple things. I did think our outfield defense was exceptional. And then we need to do a better job with the inside game. Not that we're trying to bunt all the time, but it should be a weapon for us. We see it in practice that when a third baseman's back, we'll lay down a drag or a push. I thought we could have done that a little bit more on Saturday's game. That was a little bit frustrating. And then too many strikeouts. We need to put pressure on them by putting the ball in play early. So a combination of all those things. You're not going to fix it after week 1, but it does give you some direction of, okay, we need to spend some more time doing this, and how are we going to do this, and how are we going to attack it? So I'm getting ready for Tuesday as we build up for the weekend.
All right. Well, Coach, we hope it's a tremendous homecoming for you and for the team to continue to take its next step forward, and we look forward to talking to you next week post that series.
Appreciate it. Go Cougs.